What if the very walls of a home could breathe with fear? What if the land beneath your feet was cursed long before you ever stepped onto it? And what if, once you entered, the house refused to ever let you go? Would you dare to stay? Tonight, you don't have a choice. Some places are not just haunted, they are alive. For centuries, people have whispered of homes that carry curses, houses where no family lasts for long, properties where darkness itself seems to rise from the earth and settle into the timber. And while most ghost stories fade with time, some continue, because the evil in them never leaves. Our first story takes us to a lonely farmhouse in the hills of New York, a home known to locals simply as the Hinsdale House, a place of rituals, apparitions, exorcisms, and unrelenting dread. A house so terrifying, even priests walked away. This is not just a haunting. This is an infestation. Story 1. The Hinsdale House Haunting. Nestled in the quiet countryside of Hinsdale, New York, sits a white farmhouse that looks like any other. But inside, history bleeds into the present. The land itself is said to be cursed. Stories whisper of Native American executions, violent deaths, and dark rituals performed beneath its soil. By the 1970s, the house had already developed a reputation. But the Danny family had no idea what awaited them when they moved in. The beginning of terror. At first, it was small, lights flickering, objects vanishing, strange footsteps echoing upstairs when no one was there. Then came the voices, disembodied whispers, sometimes crying, sometimes chanting. The family would lie awake in bed, straining to hear the words, only to realize the sounds were coming from inside the walls. But it wasn't just sound. The family began to see things. Figures standing in doorways, only to vanish. A woman in white gliding across the property. A grotesque figure, half human, half animal, glaring at them from the tree line. And then came the smell. A rotting stench that filled the air for minutes at a time, with no source. Escalation. The haunting escalated quickly. Appliances turned on by themselves. Windows shattered in the middle of the night. The children were plagued with nightmares so vivid, they woke up screaming, claiming hands had been reaching for them in the dark. One night, the family heard what sounded like a mob outside the house. Men shouting, drums beating, footsteps circling the home. But when they looked out the windows, the yard was empty. Only silence remained. Animals refused to go near the property. The family's dog whined constantly, staring at corners of the room as though watching something no human eye could see. The exorcism attempt. Desperate, the dandies turned to the church. Priests were called to bless the home. But as they began the ritual, the walls shook. Objects flew across the room. A heavy cross fell from the wall, nearly striking one of them. The priest continued, but then something horrifying happened. One priest suddenly froze, his face drained of blood. He whispered, "There's something here that doesn't want us." And with that, they left. The blessing had failed. The family was left alone with it. The breaking point. By now, the house was not just haunted, it was consuming them. The dandies reported apparitions appearing right in front of them. Shadowy forms gliding through hallways, faces staring out of mirrors, strange figures watching from the edge of the woods. One night, as the family gathered in the living room, a deafening crash shook the house. The lights went out, and in the pitch-black silence, a voice whispered from the corner, "Get out." The family finally obeyed. They fled the house, leaving behind their belongings, their dreams, and their sanity. Aftermath. The Hinsdale house still stands today. Over the years, paranormal investigators, journalists, and thrill seekers have entered, many leaving shaken, some refusing to ever return. Reports include full-bodied apparitions caught on film, voices captured in EVP sessions calling out names, visitors suddenly scratched or shoved by invisible hands, and overwhelming feelings of dread, despair, and nausea the moment you step inside. The house has been called one of the most haunted locations in America. And what's most chilling, the activity never seems to stop. It is as if the land itself is alive. The Hinsdale house is more than a haunting. It is a wound in history that never heals. But if that story felt too far away, too rooted in the hills of New York, our second story will bring the horror right into the modern age. A haunting that didn't stay locked in a farmhouse. One that unfolded in real time across social media. A case that millions of people witnessed as a man documented his torment tweet by tweet. The terrifying story of Dear David. Story 2. The Dear David Haunting. New York City, summer 2017. In a quiet Brooklyn apartment, illustrator Adam Ellis thought his life was ordinary. But one August night, he had a dream that would change everything. In the dream stood a boy, small, frail, his head unnaturally dented as though crushed on one side. His eyes were dark, hollow, unblinking. Someone whispered into Adam's ear, "This is David. You can ask him 2 questions. Only 2. But if you dare ask a third, he will kill you." Adam thought it was just a nightmare. He was wrong. The first dreams. The next night, Adam dreamed again. David sat in a green chair at the foot of his bed, watching him in silence. Gathering courage, Adam asked, "How did you die?" David whispered, "An accident. Someone pushed a shelf on my head." Shaken, Adam foolishly asked a second question. "Who pushed the shelf?" David's face twisted in anger. His mouth opened, but no sound came. Then Adam realized he had asked the forbidden third question. He woke up gasping, his chest tight, his sheets drenched in sweat. The haunting begins. At first, Adam dismissed it as a nightmare. But then, his cats began behaving strangely. Every night, precisely at midnight, both cats padded to the front door and sat there, staring, tails twitching, ears pinned back as if something stood on the other side. The air felt heavy, electric. Adam posted about it online, half joking. But his followers noticed the fear behind his words. The haunting had begun. Shadows in the apartment. Over the following weeks, Adam documented everything. Objects shifted when he left the room. Strange pops and thuds echoed at night. His sleep was filled with the same dream. David closer every time. One night, Adam woke to the sound of creaking wood. In the dim light, his rocking chair swayed back and forth on its own. The hairs on his arms rose. Another night, he snapped photos of his room while pretending to sleep. When he reviewed them, his heart stopped. In the corner, a small figure with a dented head leaned toward his bed. He wasn't alone anymore. The evidence spreads. Adam shared the photos online. Some showed only blur. Others, unmistakably, captured a child-sized figure with one side of the head sunken. Skeptics accused him of Photoshop. Believers begged him to leave the apartment. But the activity escalated. His cats grew restless, refusing to enter certain rooms. He found strange green residue smeared across his walls. One night, Adam recorded a video. As he slept, the camera captured the rocking chair shifting. Then, a child's small figure climbed onto the bed, watching Adam's sleeping face. Seconds later, the figure collapsed, vanishing into nothing. Millions watched in horror as the evidence went viral. The possession fears. By late 2017, Adam's tone online had shifted. His posts became shorter, colder, as though someone else was writing them. He mentioned headaches, dizziness, missing time. Then came the final tweet. "Everything is fine. I'm Euphine. Please stop worrying." But fans noticed the strange phrasing. It didn't sound like him. And after that, silence. Aftermath. To this day, no one knows what truly happened in that Brooklyn apartment. Adam Ellis never returned to the story. Some say he fabricated it as a viral hoax. Others believe Dear David finally took him. The legend grew so large that Hollywood adapted it into a feature film in 2023. Yet even the movie couldn't capture the raw terror of Adam's real-time posts, his shaking photographs, his chilling videos. Because what terrified people most wasn't the ghost itself. It was the feeling that they were watching a man slowly lose his life to something unseen. So who was David? A restless child spirit? A demonic entity pretending to be innocent? Or Adam's own descent into madness? We may never know. But if you dream of a boy with a dented head, remember the rule. 2 questions only. Never a third. Because if you do, he might come for you next.